In the previous episodes, Halim and ET have worked with a number of pools with a number of different tiles on one side. First, they worked with a pool with 10 tiles on one side, and they got the equation 10 times 2 plus the quantity 10 minus 2 times 2 is equal to 36. Next, they worked with a pool with 7 tiles on one side, and they got the equation 7 times 2 plus the quantity 7 minus 2 times 2 is equal to 24. Finally, Halim and ET worked with a pool with 15 tiles on one side, and they got the equation 15 times 2 plus the quantity 15 minus 2 times 2 is equal to 56. Using their arithmetic method, they were able to generalize their method into the equation x times 2 plus the quantity x minus 2 times 2 is equal to b. In this episode, Halim and ET are going to do something hard. They're going to try and explain their equation using the tiling context. They will explain what the x means, what the times 2 means, what the x times 2 means, and then the x minus 2. If you're confused what these mean, don't worry. Halim and ET aren't sure yet either.
ET, can you read what's at the top of the screen?
This drawing represents a pool with any number of tiles on a side. Label parts of the equation in the drawing.
So can you highlight, label, work together, pick a symbol, and then figure out how to show it, label it.
Okay, well, I'll do the first x. Well, I'll do x. X is all of this. It's just everything around.
So can you write down what x is?
Halima said x is the total number of tiles in the border. To see if that makes sense, they will use their arithmetic equation from the pool with 10 tiles on one side. They will use this arithmetic equation to help them think about where x is on the drawing.
X is the total number of tiles on one side.
So now, Halima, you think it's the number of tiles around the pool. That's what you said first. ET says it's the number of tiles on one side. Can you guys argue and come to an agreement?
Well, I think it's the total of number of tiles on one side, because we can tell from the equation below, the 10 times 2 plus 8 times 2, the x and the 10 are the same. And the 10 was on the total of number of tiles on one side, which means the x should be the total number of tiles on one side.
What do you think, Halima?
Well, yeah, x is the number of tiles on one side, but because like we haven't like subtracted the other two, it could really just be the number of tiles on any side.
So can you guys label wherever you see x on this pool and then be writing down what you think it is?
Like if we're using the equation in purple, every side would be x.
Go ahead and write that, label your diagram. Then can you circle the tiles that you think will be in the X? Because I don't know which part of the side that refers to. So explain your thinking to ET and then let him react.
So because there is no y, we haven't taken off the other tiles yet. We haven't taken off those 2 tiles yet. So every side is equal to x. And that's why in the equation we have to do x minus 2 times 2.
Okay.
You have to take them off later.
What do you think, E.T.?
I agree with Halima.
So x is the number of tiles on each side. What does x times 2 mean?
X times 2 would mean 2 groups of x.
Okay. What do you think of that, Halima? 2 groups of x.
I agree with that.
You do. And Halima, can you show me where 2 groups of x are with your laser pointer?
Yeah, 2 groups of x would be on this side. Here and here.
Awesome. There's 2 groups of x tiles. Okay, what's next? Where can you mark that where the x minus 2 is?
The x minus 2. Like this is the x and then the minus 2. It's this part and that part.
What does minus 2 mean? What are you doing with those parts that you just circled?
You're taking them away.
Taking them away? What are you left with?
8.
Oh, if you're left with 8, if what?
Or you're left with like I'm not sure how to explain it.
Is it hard?
Yeah, without the numbers.
Phew, this is hard work. Halima and E.T. were able to agree what x represented. It was the number of tiles on any side. They then said that times 2 was groups of, and the x times 2 was then the 2 groups of x tiles. Then they tried to tackle the x minus 2. They knew x was the number of tiles on top of the pool, and the minus 2 was for the corners. But why are they subtracting the 2? What portion of the pool would be left? Math can be confusing, and that's okay. In the next episode, Halima and E.T. will work to overcome this difficulty.